no way to get it like close to the firewall.
Yeah, both mine have got
I'd like to.
We'll be free again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Winged Victory with Rob and Scott, a podcast by the National Museum of World War II Aviation here in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Welcome to another episode. I'm Scott Klaers, and I'm here once again with my partner in crime, Mr. Rob Gale.
Speaking of,
Yeah. So today, it's just going to be the two of us. We don't have a guest, but my partner here, Rob, he actually kind of threw a little gauntlet out for me. He decided to give me a little bit of homework.
well, and we do have a guest.
Yes, we do.
We have Dick Cole.
Dick Cole, Mr. Dick Cole's War. He gave me a little bit of homework, decided to tell me to actually read a book. So,
I wanted you to prove you were actually literate.
yeah, and I actually can read a book, but I only, as you can see, got about halfway through it so far.
Yeah, you got
so.
the good stuff. Actually, it's all amazing. Spoiler alert, they were the ones who, when they were invading Burma, they pioneered the system to have a Goonie bird fly over and snatch a glider off the ground.
Oh, really? Yeah, see, I haven't got to that part yet.
That's spoiler alert, but
I'm
it's
working through the CBI right now, and he's flying the Hump, but, I haven't got to that point yet. So
there's just so much cool stuff, That's the first book I bought at this museum.
Yeah, I've bought a few books. This one, actually, I'm very fortunate. Mr. Dick Cole was here on a couple of different occasions. And he was actually here, I think, about 3 months before he passed away. And he presented the museum with, so every year, I guess, at the reunions, they had a lithograph. And then they would whoever attended that reunion would sign the lithograph. So he brought us one of the original lithographs. And it actually is the one with the most signatures on it.
That's the one right in the entrance.
Yeah.
Right
by the SPD display over
I was
here,
just looking at that this morning.
And then I was even more fortunate because we did a presentation and had a bunch of press out and everything else, and he actually presented it to me to giving it to the museum. And I thought that was kind of appropriate, seeing as how I co-pilot B-25 and he was Doolittle's co-pilot.
Well, and I had the thought, I had thought he was younger when he flew the Raid, but he was 26
Yeah,
to
he was one of the
Doolittle's
old men.
to Doolittle's 47.
Yeah.
And I think that's about the interval between you and your left seater.
Yeah, actually, about 20 years. We're actually right at 20 years.
Yeah. So quite an interval.
I'm older than Doolittle was then. So
that's all right.
That makes the pilot of this airplane a lot older than that. But
yes, well.
Yeah, that's quite the book. I mean, to the impressions that I got, I mean, just opening up and reading the epilogue and the preface, I mean, the emotions that I got from that, you know, it really just stirred some stuff. But it was kind of different for me in the fact that I was kind of really sad because I've been around these guys growing up, and I didn't know his story. I wish I had known more of his story before I got to meet the man, and you know, so I'd actually have something that, you know, other than just being like, oh my God, that's Dick Cole, you know, Doolittle's co-pilot. There was so much more.
So much more. But even if you'd known the story, he was such a self-effacing guy. From all accounts, I was just doing my job.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a story you'd really get out of him.
Well, and in CBI, he flew with people, dozens of people, and they didn't even know he'd been on the raid.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what so many of these guys were, so modest. I was just doing my job, just flying off an aircraft carrier and plane number one.
Well, and that's what it was. You know, I mean, it wasn't like they knew what they were volunteering for. They didn't even know what they were volunteering for. They just knew that, hey, I wanted it. We're flying airplanes. I think in his case, you know, he just wanted more time.
Yeah.
He wanted to fly airplanes. He wanted to, you know, whatever was going to get him the ability to fly an airplane, he was going to do it.
Well, and that's how he wound up in the hump. You know, he wasn't getting enough B-25 time, and they desperately needed.
Well, yeah, they were talking about the CBI. They didn't have enough I mean, the CBI was the
bastard
ugly
stepchild.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, they didn't want anything to do with like really getting anything over there to help that.
No.
That was like third or fourth on the list of priorities, and so, you know, they didn't have anything. What they say at one point, they had 4 airplanes and 30 pilots. Yeah,
total shoestring, and the end of a very long supply line.
Oh yeah, I mean, for them, they were saying like half the airplanes they got there were wore out by the time they got them because
they had to fly halfway across the world, no more than halfway, to get there.
Yeah, so I mean, just the logistics of it, and you know, so the fact that, you know, he just wanted to fly, and the fact that they didn't even know what they were volunteering for. So it wasn't like you had a bunch of guys that were like, oh, that's going to be I'm going to volunteer for that raid because that's going to make me famous, you know, and that wasn't what it was. It was just, hey, we wanted to do our job. We've been training for this for a long time. You know, we want to get out there and get our time, and so that just tells you the makeup of the guys that were doing this. You know, that they didn't have a clue.
No, I think Doolittle's whole speech or whatever was, hey, I got a job, you'll be out of the country for a while, who wants to go?
Yeah.
And in Dick's case, he wound up being out of the country for over a year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think even before that, they were volunteering for this thing before they even knew Doolittle was even a part of it. You know, he didn't know that his boyhood idol, or somebody that he watched, you know, flying airplanes in and out of Ohio, you know, he was famous.
And winning air races. I mean, he was second only to Lindbergh, I think, as a aviator idol. But he certainly didn't know he was going to fly with Doolittle. It was only that his pilot got sick.
Yeah, that was the only reason he actually flew with them.
Yeah, well, and that Doolittle, I think, wanted to go anyway.
He was probably looking for a reason.
Well, and he had to go up to D.C. and he kind of hornswoggled Arnold.
Yeah, the story is pretty interesting in that. You know, he kind of got him he just pushed him and pushed him until he finally was like, well, if you get somebody else's approval, I'll let it happen.
And then he scrambles down the hall to this guy.
Before the phone call could come across. He was faster than the phone call could be made.
Yep.
So,
but Hap, I already told him he could go.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah. And so that is the legendary side. But as you're seeing in Flying the Hump, that's dangerous. I mean, several of the raiders lost their lives in China after the raid.
Oh, yeah. Well, 3 of them lost their lives on the first ferry flight over or something. They said that they were doing moving some of the airplanes across, and they had a guy that was new to the area. He was in command.
Yeah.
And everybody was telling him, this is not good, don't go. And I'm going, and we're going.
And yeah, you 3 guys are going with us.
With the brand new B-25s, and I think only 2 of the 6 actually made it to where they were supposed to be going.
Yeah. And I forget the stats exactly, but a lot of guys died flying that route, and I think the author does a really good job of explaining how horrific the conditions are. I mean, you could have a 100-knot crosswind setting you into the Himalayas and not know it.
Yeah, I mean, just reading the description made me it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Like, what are you thinking? And they had to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to supply Kunming and get all the supplies across. But, I mean, you're just talking, the most treacherous. I mean, the way he described it, it's the worst place in the world to fly. You got 26,000-foot peaks.
Yeah.
It seemed like the sky was never clear unless it was after September. I think between September and December was probably the best. It was the only time that was halfway
about
decent to fly.
About as good as it got.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the living conditions would absolutely horrify any proper Air Force guy. You're living in a thatched hut and slogging through the mud, and and the end of the supply line for everything, food, spare parts.
Yeah.
Just that was a heroic effort, but it kept the Chinese in the war and tied down hundreds of thousands of Japanese troops that otherwise could have gone against our guys or other guys elsewhere in the theater. But I think it's so cool that you got to meet him. I was talking to one of the docents who said, well, yeah, I saw him, but there was a whole crowd of people around him, and there he is.
Yeah, and honestly, because I found out that day that he was coming out, I mean, it was a really patched together type thing, and it kept growing and growing. Like, next thing I knew, we had news people here, and then I found out that I was going to be the one that was going to have to speak or whatever, and I don't have that public speaking gene. And it's getting a little bit better and better with this thing that we're doing here.
It's
but
getting
back then. So to me, I was almost. I don't even remember the guy's face, to be honest, because I was so overtaken. But so no, I mean, it's just a privilege. I mean, but it really made me. God, you got to go back and think about all the missed opportunities. Just because they didn't know, exactly what. I mean, everybody knows the Doolittle Raid. Everybody knows the gist of it.
Well,
took
everybody
16 B-25s off an aircraft carrier, and we bombed Tokyo 4 months after Pearl Harbor.
Everybody should know that, but on the N3N, when I have the kids do an outside loop, and it's great because our screen goes red.
Yeah.
Well, that's blood rushing to your eyes.
Yeah.
And then I asked him. I said, "Do you know
who did the first one?
Who did the first one successfully?" And
nobody knows that.
Then, well, no. and as soon as I say Jimmy Doolittle, about half of them go, "Oh," and the other half I say, "You can't leave this museum until you find out who this guy was."
Yeah.
I said, it's not going to be hard. I mean,
so another good book too that I've read, didn't actually finish it either, but I need to finish it. The Aviators. Have you read that book?
Yes.
That's another excellent book. It talks about Eddie Rickenbacker, and it's got Jimmy
Lindbergh
Doolittle
and Doolittle.
Lindbergh, and it talks about their whole stories, from kid to.
Yeah, that's a great insight into 3 of the key American aviators of the 20th century, and I became even more impressed with Rickenbacker from that from that book.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was a professional race car driver, so that like hits all
that's
things
yeah.
for me, you know. I mean,
Absolutely.
the guy was like he was a top dog back then, which was something because you didn't have a very long lifespan. I mean,
No.
everything that guy did would be considered a very extreme today.
Well, and I think he was 52 years old when he spent 3 weeks on a life raft in the middle of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
And charmed life, I think.
So I wanted to ask you, because you dealt with a lot of planning in your career for missions and stuff like that. So what would go into, I mean, how do you go from getting a call from the President of the United States saying, hey, I want to bomb Tokyo.
Yep.
And you need to figure out how we're going to do that.
Well, and what it first took, it was the inspiration of a submarine officer, Captain Lowe. He was flying out of Norfolk, and he looked down, and he saw the Hornet, pretty sure it was the Hornet, and then some other activity on the runway, probably at Oceana or somewhere. And that was the idea of, I think, here's how we can do it. So first of all, he had, and this book has the names of the two pilots that actually took B-25s down and flew them off the Hornet.
Yeah.
They weren't part of the raid or anything else. It's just proof of concept. And proof of concept is a big deal. But one of the best ways to plan, and I learned this on the job. I never got sent to staff college or anything like that. Okay, this is the objective. This is what we want. Now you start planning backwards. You know, what's the situation? Okay, the Japanese own the Pacific. What's the mission? Bomb the Japanese homeland. And then you get into execution. And so you start planning backwards. If we want to be here by this time, it's going to take us this long. And then you start getting into logistics, which is the reign of the professionals. There's an old saw that says, amateurs study strategy and tactics, professionals study logistics. Because it is, how much gasoline does this airplane need? And, okay, and then if it's got that much fuel, what's the bomb load? And that's when they started stripping things off these airplanes. You know, they took the bottom turret off. They put, there was a bladder on top of the bomb bay.
Yeah.
And then all these other fuel tanks besides. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, let's see. Gee, we have, 3 aircraft carriers in the Pacific, and we're going to send 2 of them initially
Japan.
400 miles off the Japanese coast.
Yeah.
And they've got 4 cruisers to escort them and some destroyers and a couple of oilers. Because the oilers, again, are going to be crucial because you're going to have to refuel at least halfway.
Yeah.
And
which
then
in itself is a crazy endeavor.
Well,
according to the book, like, 30-foot swells and
yeah, and having done it with the method that works now, in World War II, they were sending you sent a fuel hose over, and you had a hole in the top of the fuel tank, and you just threw the end of the hose in there, and hope that it doesn't come out. And it's crazy. It's one of the things our Navy has pioneered and done very, very well, is refueling at sea. And I mean, back in my day, we did it every 3 days, rain, shine, day, night. And so just being able to do that was something. And then you've got the only group of people who are flying this airplane, because the only alternative was the B-23, a tail dragger.
I thought they were talking about the B-26.
They thought about the B-26
But
initially.
the wing was too short, and it had to take too long to take off.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way you were going to get a B-26 off in that distance.
I wouldn't think you'd have a B-23 sitting on the carrier deck, or you'd have maybe 8 of them instead of 16.
Yeah, because again, the tail dragger is going to take up more
much
room.
Bigger. It's the size of a B-17.
Well, I don't know. I always consider it kind of like a DC-3 C-47.
Well, yeah, it's the same size as that, but I mean the wingspan and everything. It's like right there, so it wasn't very practical.
We had the ideal airplane.
Yeah.
Brand new in service. Again, one group, 4 squadrons of guys, and everybody volunteered.
Yeah.
And then once they had all of 3 weeks of training.
I thought it was a little bit longer, but I don't remember the exact timeline.
Not a whole lot.
So they had another competing idea as well, which was they're going to take B-17s and fly them to China, and then fly them from China and hit them.
Yeah.
And then, so how do you end up with 16 B-25s on a carrier instead of just for the expediency of it?
Well, sure, because remember when we were talking about the Hump, those airplanes were worn out by the time they got to China.
Yeah.
And
well, they ended up showing up there, but it was like about a week or 2 after the raid was done.
Yeah.
Because that group showed up.
And this, first of all, the Japanese would have been expecting something like that.
Yeah, coming from the land.
And totally unprecedented.
Well, yeah, it's something that had never been done before. So
no. Well, and I think when we were talking about gliders with Mark, the criteria for a special operation, as outlined by a guy I actually used to work for, is new technology, rehearsals, stuff like that. But the thing that astounds me, and they did have a cover story because that's also part of operational planning, is, well, why is this group of people over here? We need some kind of a plausible cover story. But they sailed the Hornet under the Golden Gate with 16 bombers.
I know. Yeah,
sitting there in broad
daylight. Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, at the time, it probably wasn't too uncommon because they would ship planes on carrier. I mean, it wouldn't have been an attack carrier like that. It would have been a freighter carrier or something.
Well, but except we didn't have them then.
No, you didn't have them then. But you can say that, hey, we're just.
Well, and that's what they did. They said, oh, we're ferrying airplanes to Hawaii.
Nobody would probably think, oh, they're going to take those off the deck.
Well, and part of it was.
And then hit Japan.
Part of it was the World War II generation understood that we're fighting for our lives, for civilization. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah. You should be quiet. But to do that, and of course, not everybody, they actually, I think, planned for 15 airplanes, and Dick Joyce was going to fly one off.
100 miles, they was going to fly it off just to show the guys that they could do it.
And then
they decided, we'll just hold on to that extra airplane.
Extra airplane.
Yeah, it was all different because, the plan was different than what it ended up being. Because, Doolittle was going to take off an hour before everybody.
Yeah.
He was going to go set fires, and that was going to kind of be their homing beacon, essentially.
Well, because they were supposed to take off at dusk.
Yeah. From 400 miles.
From 400 miles.
Not 620
and
miles.
And, when they found out they were discovered, Halsey comes over and says, what's it going to be? You want to go about now, or should we shove your airplanes over the side?
And we're out of here.
And so they'd taken the 16 airplanes, but they took all the crews onto the ship. I think there were 22 or 23
they didn't leave anybody
trained.
behind.
No, because that, again, exposes you to an operational security leak.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there were guys who, hey, I'll take your place.
Yeah. There was definitely, they were saying that they kept waiting, hey, are you sure you want to go?
And
I'd like to get on that.
Yeah, and Doolittle kept saying to the guys,
You could still back out.
Yeah.
At any point.
No harm, no foul.
And that's what really, to me, makes it remarkable is because it was their choice. I mean, and that's not something you normally get in the military.
Yeah.
Usually you're told, hey, this is where you're going, this is what you're doing, and they had that. They had the total choice to do that, and they all chose to do it.
Well, and having worked in both the no choice and the all volunteer military, and then off into SOF where everybody's a volunteer, it's a different kind of atmosphere.
Oh,
I mean, I enlisted to dodge the draft, and I was with people who had been drafted, and they were really unhappy.
Yeah.
And they made no bones about their
We
unhappiness.
can make a lot of correlations to the museum. It's a volunteer-run museum. Everybody here is a volunteer, and it really makes the atmosphere a much different place than it would be if a bunch of paid, disgruntled employees.
Yeah, or even gruntled employees. I don't know, but yeah, that's one of the elements that makes this place so special. Is everybody wants to be here, and at the meeting we were at this morning, we've had an increase in volunteers. There are still lots of opportunities to be a part of this place, and I feel fortunate that I found it. Although you talk about wasted time, I'd heard about it, but it took me years to finally just, hey, I got to go find that place.
Yeah.
And I still run into people in town, lived here 20 years. Where is it?
Yeah, no, we get it all the time, for sure. I mean, trying to get the exposure out there.
Well, but hopefully
more
we
on an
are.
International level or national level versus, local level.
Yeah.
But I think we're trying to kind of shift that a little bit and kind of get a little more local support. But anyway, it's just, the whole thing was, the Doolittle Raid is just, it is legendary for a reason.
Oh yeah, and again, using McRaven's criteria, it met all of the criteria for a special operation, and never repeated.
No.
I mean, I found where late in the war they were experimenting with B-25s, or actually PBJs, on carriers. I actually have a photo of a PBJ H model on a carrier, and the thing's got a tail hook.
It's got a hook on it. Really?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, and it's very obscure.
Well, it's a great airplane, and they picked the right airplane. They didn't have a lot of choice stuff to pick from in 1942.
No, but they somehow North American built the ideal airplane. In the research I've been doing with the WAFs and the WASP, everybody who flew that airplane loved it.
Yeah, it's a really great airplane. It's like I said, I kind of liken it to a slow fighter. You do have to kind of wrestle it around if you're trying to make some, maneuvers. When you're doing the air show and you're coming around and you're going out to make the banana pass and you bank, and then you got to come back in and bank and then get, you got to move it. But it'll do it. It'll move for you, and it's got the range that they needed. It was just ideal. And it's a comfortable airplane to fly. And it's got great single engine characteristics. It's just
they
did a really good job of this airplane. So
and North American built great airplanes.
Yeah, they did. They're pretty simple. We're building the Mustang wing right now, and it's just pretty straightforward. And there's no surprises where you get to a certain point and you go, uh-oh, I didn't do that in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to, all their stuff's easy.
Well, and they kept cranking them out, kept improving them every time. And we have really the penultimate J model here that's as good as they got, and it was mighty good.
Yeah.
And I am thrilled for you, and not a little bit envious that you can talk about flying this airplane.
Yeah, it's a privilege for sure. I mean, I fly it kind of, like Dick Cole flew it. You're kind of on the right seat, and every once in a while the pilot throws it to you because he gets a little tired or wants to take a break or something. But it's the same experience. It's funny because when I'm reading the book, I'm like, I could relate to everything that he's going through on that.
Because he talks about some pilots, it's like, you sit there.
Yeah.
And others, it's like, I'm going to bring you along and teach you.
Every pilot's got their thing.
Yeah.
And I had the fortunate ability to fly with Tony Ritzman. So in California, we went back for Chino Air Show and Pacific Princess. He wanted to take his family up for a flight after the show. So he asked my dad, hey, come fly with me. And he's like, take Scott. So I got to go fly with him. And it was a whole different regimen, I mean, different expectations, different, hey, why aren't you doing this? Because I don't normally do that, or why are you doing that? Because I normally do that, kind of thing. So you got to learn each pilot, and I'm sure that was quite something for those guys because, he was jumping in and out of different crews throughout his entire training, really.
Well, and speaking of air shows, though, this morning we got the lineup. I don't think we can give it out, but we're
the lineup,
pretty well set.
It's set. It's set in stone, I believe, unless we have something crazy happen. We definitely got the FA-18s set up.
Yeah.
Rhino demo team, they're going to be coming out. They're on hold right now because of the incident with the EA-18s.
Yeah.
But they are very confident that we're going to be moving forward and they're going to be able to fly.
Yeah, they'll lift the stand down in time, I hope.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think, we still have a few months, so I think it's not going to be a problem.
Yep.
But, actually, I wanted to have a little rant on the air show thing if I could. This is where we have the disclaimer that, the opinions expressed within are of ours and not of the entity
personal,
around us. But, you see a lot of chatter online with air shows, and most of it's positive. But every year you got to deal with the people that are like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive to go to an air show. It's so expensive, and they raise their prices $10 or whatever. And,
well, which isn't the museum's doing per se.
well, no, but I mean it's the air show. Well, people don't even know that really the museum is a big part of the beneficiary of our particular air show. A lot of the money comes to the museum. It also goes to Fort Carson Museum. It also goes to Peterson Air Force Base, or Space Force Base, museum. So it benefits a lot of the museums. But, just the logistics of putting on an air show is phenomenal. People don't understand what goes into putting on an event that we do once every 2 years.
Yeah.
We're not like an Oshkosh or somebody that does it every year. And to be able to put on an air show is, I'm telling you, the amount of people that are involved, the amount of, you got to get, you got Peterson, you got Fort Carson, you got to get involved
The
with
airport,
the city, the fire department, the police department, your local FBO who's going to be providing fuel, which for us is Jet Center. You got to deal with the airlines because we are a terminal airport.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to schedule with the airlines when you can close down the airport.
Well, and
the
we were
cost is just ridiculous.
We were just talking on the way over here, though. We both bought concert tickets recently.
Oh yeah.
And
I have no problem plopping down $250 for two of us to go to a concert.
Well, in concerts, sure, there's infrastructure and overhead, but concerts aren't buying hundreds of gallons of aviation fuel.
No, they come into a set venue that's set up for for concerts.
For the show.
Or if you go to a football game, you're at a stadium. That's what they're there for, and they have 8 of those per year if you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, we do this once every 2 years. We got to go set up a mini city
Absolutely.
3 days before the air show,
Yep.
and then tear it down the day after.
Yep.
You got vendors. You're dealing with insurance. You're dealing with getting statics in, and just for the performers. I mean, you want to get the private performers in. Well, they're money.
Yeah.
They have a performance.
They have
fee.
expenses.
They got to get a hotel room. We got to get them hotel rooms for 3, 4, not 5 nights.
Rental cars.
Food. The military acts are free. You don't have to pay for the military acts, but guess what?
Well, we've already paid for the military.
But you're
acts.
still paying for their hotels. You're still
Yep.
paying for their rental car, and they come with a lot of people.
Sure.
And like the last air show, the EA-18s, we had them here, and they had a malfunction, and they had to stay an extra 3 days waiting for the part to show up.
Which required security.
The security, it required hotel rooms, it required keeping the cars, and you're talking about for 20 people. And then you talk about a major act like the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds,
Yeah.
and you're talking 50 cars and 50 hotel rooms, and it is a phenomenal expense to put on an air show. The fact that anybody out in this country can put on an air show for people's entertainment is phenomenal.
Well,
so when you got to pay that $38 or $40 or whatever it is to get in, I think a lot of people go to the say an Air Force air show and they're free.
Yeah.
And that's because when it's at a base, it has to be free because it's being put on by. Well, it's not free because we're all paying
again,
for it
we've already
with our
paid
tax
for it,
dollars.
but
I just kind of don't want to throw it out there. I mean, it's just people really need to put it in perspective that this is a phenomenal undertaking.
I bought 8 preferred front row seats.
Yeah.
And that's money well spent, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for your patronage. We appreciate that, Rob.
Well, that's only one day. I'll be working the rest of those days.
Yeah, we'll get you out there and working. So yeah, I mean, just have that in mind when you come out to any air show. And most of the people that are out there that are working, they're doing it on their own dime, their own time.
Yep.
We're all out there, volunteering and trying to make a show that's fun and successful and safe, and we're really pride about putting on a good show, and we're really excited about this year. Like I said, we got some people coming in from out of state that we haven't had before.
Yep.
New airplanes, new World War II airplanes, new demos that haven't been seen out here. So we're very, very excited about it, and we're getting close. As this airs, it'll be in July, so we're a couple months away. September 19th and 20th, pprairshow.org for tickets.
Yep. Which are still available for the general admission, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
And
we won't sell out probably for maybe the month beforehand,
but will sell out.
Yeah, the VIPs, we expect to be sold out. We definitely expect to be sold
the VIPs are
gone.
The preferreds probably.
Preferred seatings probably, there will probably still be some of that available. But,
yeah.
I wouldn't wait. If you're interested and you want to see some amazing airplanes, and jump on those tickets.
Yep.
They will be, I think they go up in price as we get closer to the event as well.
Okay,
so
that's just economics.
A couple bucks, then get on there and just
make your choice and get with it.
Yeah.
And September will be cooler. The last one was in August, and it was a bit.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When you go to an air show, read what is allowed to be brought in, because we do allow you to bring your own water source. People complain that we don't have enough water available. We're out on a tarmac that is not designed for air shows. It's not a venue that we have all the. We have to bring everything with us.
Well, and you should bring cover for the sun.
Yeah, you can't believe how
hats.
many people we saw come in August, like the hottest weekend of the year, wearing nothing but a tank top and flip-flops and shorts and nothing else. Didn't bring a water bottle, didn't bring anything.
Well, and there was a lot of water provided to people.
There's a lot of water provided to people, but that goes fast. Like I said,
it does.
We have to bring it all in. So if what we can bring in, we're limited to. So if you're allowed to bring in water, bring your own water.
Lots of it.
I saw a lot of people with their own trail, the wagons.
Yeah.
And they brought in their giant thing of water, and they were set. So
yeah, you can't bring your own beer.
It's just a general rule. If you're going to any air show, you're out on the tarmac, you're out in the sun, you're exposed. Be smart about it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm off my high horse now.
I'm glad you let loose with all that, because
I just feel like I just needed to get it out there. It's like I know that the people that need to hear it probably won't hear it, but
that's okay. They can learn the hard way.
At least I said it.
And we had people learn the hard way last time.
Yes, we did. So back to better things.
And truly,
Fly day.
Hey, fly day. Speaking of the B-25, and yes, I am prepared. My talk reads at 40 minutes exactly, which makes my bride editor coach very happy.
Good.
She says there are 40-minute chairs. Don't talk any longer than that. We'll have the B-25 there. Actually, we'll have the B-25 here, because this is where it's going to be. And I'm really happy to tell the story of the women flying the hot ships.
Yeah.
And somehow in the promotion, the title got changed to hot aircraft. I guess somebody thought people would get confused by the term ships, but that's what the women called them.
Yeah.
I want to fly the hot ships. I want to fly the Mitchell and the Marauder and the Mustang.
Yeah.
And they did. There weren't very many of them, and some of them paid the ultimate price. But
well, I'm excited for it, for sure.
I am too. I love telling this story.
It's going to be a great story, and then I get to fly right seat for the flying part of that, and then later that night we're actually doing a flyover for the rodeo here in town. We'll be doing 2
Pikes Peak or
TBMs
Bust
and the B-25, so we're going to have a long day.
It is going to be a long day. You'll get some hours for your logbook.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, partner, this was
thanks,
great.
Partner.
Really appreciate sitting down. I appreciate the homework assignment.
Well, you've got a real job, and I read books for my not real job.
I gotta say, it's been really nice to get home and not turn the TV on and actually grab the book. And I used to be a very avid reader, and I for some reason I just got away from it. And sitting down and reading his story and just really seeing it seeing something I never read before, but seeing something from the point of view. A lot of it's from his personal letters.
Yeah.
Home. It's phenomenal, and it really kind of took me back into that place, and so I'm really appreciative that I got to sit down and read it. So I'm going to continue this.
Please do.
And I got a whole shelf full of books that I've been collecting, and it's time to start opening them up.
Well, and you in this one have a unique perspective from the co-pilot seat, but his story. That's what it is. It's stories, and I'm happy that more people know the stories.
Yep. All right, Rob. Well, for our producer,
Scott.
William Stevenson, myself, Scott Klaers, my partner, Rob Gale.
Dick Cole, rest in peace.
Dick Cole's War. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Check it out. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Stay safe out there.
Please do.